Good morning. Hi, Julia. You want to come on over? You can listen right there if you want to. That's okay too. But I'm going to read a book, so you might want to come sit by Leah because I'm going to start out with this book. It's called Telephone by Mac Arnett. All right. Let's see. And as you can see right here, there are telephone wires, and there's a lot of different birds sitting on the wires. Here's a bird, and it says, telling this bird, tell Peter, fly home for dinner. So that bird listens, the cardinal listens. Notice, plays baseball too. Tell Peter, hit pop flies and homers. Now, that's not what he said, did he? But that's his interest, and so he's saying that to the next bird, who's got some flying goggles on. Tell Peter, prop planes are for flyers. Was that the message? No. And he's passing it on to some bird that looks like she's doing a lot of cleaning. Tell Peter, put your wet socks in the dryer. Okay, so this bird here with the guitar, here's the message. Tell Peter, rock stars are admired. Goodness, this message is really switching, isn't it? Tell Peter, crocodiles are bad liars. What? Pelican hears it. Tell Peter, lobsters are good hiders. Just keep switching. Tell Peter, my monster truck has big tires. And then they're all sitting here, and one of them says, tell Peter, I'm too high up on this wire. And then the little bird with the fire hat says, tell Peter something smells like fire, and sprays the next bird. So this bird really gets wound up and says, tell Peter there's a giant monster lobster named Homer. He smells like socks, and he breathes red fire. His eyes blaze like stars, and he rides a crocodile that flies, and he's coming to this wire. Tell Peter to fly far, far away. He's too young to be somebody's dinner. Whoa, this bird tells all this to this owl. Let's see what the owl says. Because the owl is wise. Hey, Peter, he says to Peter. He's blowing a bubble. Your mom says, fly home for dinner. So he knew the message got messed up, didn't he? Right. So he got the right message. Now, this book is called Telephone. Have any of you ever played the game Telephone? Have you? Have you, Max? Max has not. Scarlett has, right? Okay. Oh, you haven't? Well, then, Scarlett, I need you to come up here because she has played this. So how it's played is one person starts with a sentence, then they whisper it to the next person. Person whispers it to the next person, and so on. And then when we get to Leah, we will find out if she's got the same message. Now, I didn't think this through clearly, so one of two things. Either I'm going to have Liam turn my mic off while I whisper the message to Scarlett. I think he's going to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have her read it, and then she can... Are you going to... Is it off? It's off. Okay, you can put that. I have my cell phone. Okay, Declan, can you whisper it to Leah? No, whisper what Sadie said to you to Leah. Do you know what it was? Try it one more time, Sadie. No, because Sadie, just whisper what you think it was to Declan. Do you remember? Okay, Declan, just try. What do you want to whisper to Leah? This is going actually good to what I wanted to do. Okay, Leah, can you whisper it to Julia? What do you think the message is, Julia? You don't know. What do you think the message was, Leah? Anything? What about Declan? What do you think the message was, Sadie? Anything?
No, I can't.
Okay.
In church we sing.
Max had it. In church we sing and pray, but I think it kind of fell apart here. So, and that happens. Okay, well, thank you, Scarlett, for your help. All right, well, our message got messed up, just like in the book, right? In our book, Peter needed to get home to eat his dinner, but every time the message was passed on, it changed, just like here, to where we didn't even know what the message was. Now, I've got something else for you to think about. What if you told a friend something about another person that wasn't really kind or thoughtful? Maybe you were upset with that other person, then your friend shares what you said with another person, and that person shares with someone else, just like what we did here. And soon, many people have heard those unkind words, and maybe those unthoughtful words even got worse because our message got all messed up, right? So maybe we just said something a little unkind, and then it just got worse and worse, right? Because that's what happens when messages get passed on. It's like that. Sometimes we call it gossip. So suddenly the unkind thing is out of control, and many people have heard it, and most likely all of them now, what? They have a bad view or a bad opinion of the person that we talked about. And in the Bible, James talks about that, and I marked it. James chapter 3. James is one of my favorite books because I did Bible quizzing on it when I was young, a long time ago, and then I coached quizzing on it too. But in the Bible, in James 3, it talks about our tongue, and he tells us how much it can get into trouble. And he says that our tongue or our words can be like a fire. And it says the tongue is a small thing, but what enormous damage it can do. A great forest can be set on fire by one tiny spark. And the tongue is a flame of fire. It can turn our lives into a blazing flame of destruction and disaster. Wow. James doesn't, he just tells it like it is, doesn't he? And I have some pictures to show you, if I can find them here. There they are. So, a fire starts with a spark, like this match, right? But if we throw it on the ground, it could turn into, eventually, and really not that long, what? A forest fire. Right. And I have asked someone to help me. So Trevor is going to come up right now, and he is going to talk to us about a campfire. Because as an Eagle Scout, he knows he was trained how to put out a campfire the correct way. So we're going to ask him a few questions. So first of all, Trevor, what do you have to do to put out a campfire safely?
You use water or sand, but you have to make sure it's completely out cold.
Okay.
You can't feel any warmth when you put your hand in there.
That's important. Okay. What can happen if you don't?
The fire could potentially reignite, and that could spread. And then that would cause a forest fire, potentially.
Extremely important. Okay. What did you earn after you were trained in campfire safety?
It's going to show you guys.
This little card called the fireman kit. So it looks like that.
All right.
Verifies that he knows how to put out campfires correctly. Thank you, Trevor. He's our expert. All right, yes. So we talked about the book of James, and in the book of James, the Bible is telling our words, our tongue, what we say can get out of control just like that fire. And we don't want that, do we? So it comes back to the wise owl at the end of the book. He knew the message was simple. What did he say? He said, Peter, your mom said, fly home for dinner. So in the same way, in the book of James, he has an answer for our tongue, but it doesn't tell us about a wise owl. It tells us about our wise God. So further on in that 3rd chapter, it says in verse 17, the wisdom that comes from heaven or from God is pure and full of quiet gentleness. It is peace-loving and it is courteous. So if we have wisdom from God, will our tongues be courteous? Our tongues will be gentle. Our tongues will be kind. They won't be out of control like a campfire that someone didn't put out correctly, right? And then could turn into a forest fire. So if we have tongue troubles and we realize, you know what, that was really not kind what I said, or that was really not true what I said, should we just let it go, or should we go and apologize, right? Stop it from spreading. Say the right words. Take care of it, just like Trevor taught us how to take care of a campfire. You agree? All right. So we have some coloring sheets that say, always be kind. And what I love is when I found them, it's got the owl on there. So, Isla, would you like to hand out the sheets to everybody?